Okay, today is the 8th of August and we come to Majjhima Nikaya Sutta 47, Vimamsaka Sutta, the Inquirer. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. There he addressed the monks thus, "Monks, noble sir," they replied. The Blessed One said, "Monks, a monk who is an inquirer, not knowing how to gauge another's mind, should make an investigation of the Tathagata in order to find out whether or not he is fully enlightened. Noble sir, our teachings are rooted in the Blessed One, guided by the Blessed One. Have the Blessed One as their resort. It would be good if the Blessed One would explain the meaning of these words. Having heard it from the Blessed One, the monks will remember it. Then listen, monks, and attend closely to what I shall say." "Yes, noble sir," the monks replied. Stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha is saying that he's telling the monks that they should make an investigation of the Buddha to find out whether or not he is enlightened. So the Buddha is a teacher who asks his disciples to question everything. Monks, a monk who is an inquirer, not knowing how to gauge another's mind, should investigate the Tathagata with respect to two kinds of states. States cognizable through the eye and through the ear thus. Are there found in the Tathagata or not any defiled states cognizable through the eye or through the ear? When he investigates him, he comes to know. No defiled states cognizable through the eye or through the ear are found in the Tathagata. When he comes to know this, he investigates him further thus. Are there found in the Tathagata or not any mixed states cognizable through the eye or through the ear? When he investigates him, he comes to know. No mixed states cognizable through the eye or through the ear are found in the Tathagata. When he comes to know this, he investigates him further thus. Are there found in the Tathagata or not cleansed states cognizable through the eye or through the ear? When he investigates him, he comes to know. Cleansed states cognizable through the eye or through the ear are found in the Tathagata. Stop here for a moment. So here, the Buddha is telling his disciples through seeing, seeing the Buddha's actions, or through hearing the Buddha's words, and then they should investigate whether the Buddha has any defiled states or not, and then also whether he has any mixed states. Mixed states means sometimes defiled, sometimes not defiled, sometimes good, sometimes bad. And then cleansed states, that means the Buddha has achieved certain cleansed states. So through his actions and through the speech, it can be known. When he comes to know this, he investigates him further thus. Has this Venerable One attained this wholesome state over a long time, or did he attain it recently? When he investigates him, he comes to know. This Venerable One has attained this wholesome state over a long time. He did not attain it only recently. When he comes to know this, he investigates him further thus. Has this Venerable One acquired renown and attained fame, so that the dangers connected with renown and fame are found in him? For monks, as long as a monk has not acquired renown and attained fame, the dangers connected with renown and fame are not found in him. But when he has acquired renown and attained fame, those dangers are found in him. When he investigates him, he comes to know. This Venerable One has acquired renown and attained fame, but the dangers connected with renown and fame are not found in him. Let's stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha says that they should consider whether the Buddha has attained these wholesome states for a long time or only recently. And also whether he has name and fame, and whether those dangers connected with name and fame are found in him. those dangers connected with name and fame mainly is this ego. Because of the ego, there is arrogance, and also because of the ego, because of arrogance, sometimes a person can have a lot of anger, and also if he's greedy, whether he's greedy or not, because once a person wants name, then he's greedy for fame, he's greedy for this and that, etc. So, as far as the Buddha is concerned, he does not have these dangers connected with renown and fame. There is a Samyutta in the Samyutta Nikaya called Vimamsaka, where the Buddha said that a monk should avoid gains and fame. Should not be greedy for gains means offerings, and fame having a name, becoming famous. So the Buddha said these two are very dangerous. Sometimes a monk, before he has attained fame, he's practicing well. But very often after he becomes famous, then as his ego becomes swollen, and he will go the wrong way. When he comes to know this, he investigates him further thus. Is this Venerable One restrained without fear, not restrained by fear? And does he avoid indulging in sensual pleasures because he is without lust through the destruction of lust? When he investigates him, he comes to know this Venerable One is restrained without fear, not restrained by fear. And he avoids indulging in sensual pleasure because he is without lust through the destruction of lust. Now monks, if others should ask that monk thus, what are the Venerable One's reasons and what is his evidence, whereby he says, that Venerable One is restrained without fear, not restrained by fear, and he avoids indulging in sensual pleasures because he is without lust through the destruction of lust. Answering rightly, that monk would answer thus, whether that Venerable One dwells in the Sangha or alone, while some there are well behaved and some are ill behaved, and some there teach a group, while some here are seen concerned about material things, and some are unsullied by material things. Still that Venerable One does not despise anyone because of that. And I have heard and learned this from the Blessed One's own lips. I am restrained without fear, not restrained by fear, and I avoid indulging in sensual pleasures because I am without lust through the destruction of lust. Stop here for a moment. So here is quite interesting. The Buddha says that a monk who is restrained without fear and he avoids indulging in sensual pleasures because he is without lust. In that case, that monk, when he sees well-behaved and ill-behaved monks, still he does not despise anyone because of that. So, in other words, this person, he has let go, and also his ego is not so big. Normally, when we are new on the spiritual path, we are very diligent to practice well. And when we are diligent to practice well and we see others are not practicing well, we tend to look down on them. But when we are more mature, spiritually more mature, then even though we progress on the spiritual path, the Buddha says we don't identify ourselves with that progress. You don't think I'm very clean in my precepts, or my meditation is very good, and all these things. If you understand the Dhamma, later you see the Buddha says that the Buddha does not identify himself with all those good states because just let go of the ego. So this is quite quite revealing that if a monk he progresses, then he will not differentiate so much. He will not be critical of even ill-behaved monks. The Tathagata monks should be questioned further about that thus. Are there found in the Tathagata or not any defiled states cognizable through the eye or through the ear? The Tathagata would answer thus. No defiled states cognizable through the eye or through the ear are found in the Tathagata. If asked, are there found in the Tathagata or not any mixed states cognizable through the eye or through the ear? The Tathagata would answer thus. No mixed states cognizable through the eye or through the ear are found in the Tathagata. If asked, are there found in the Tathagata or not cleansed states cognizable through the eye or through the ear? The Tathagata would answer thus. Cleansed states cognizable through the eye or through the ear are found in the Tathagata. They are my pathway and my domain, yet I do not identify with them. Stop it for a moment. So here, this is what I was trying to say, that the Buddha, he has cleansed states, he has made a lot of progress, but he does not identify the self with all that cleansed states, or does not think, I have attained this, I have attained that. Monks, a disciple should approach the teacher who speaks thus in order to hear the Dhamma. The teacher teaches him the Dhamma with its higher and higher levels, with its more and more sublime levels, with its dark and bright counterparts. As the teacher teaches the Dhamma to a monk in this way, through direct knowledge of a certain teaching here in that Dhamma, the monk comes to a conclusion about the teachings. He places confidence in the teacher thus. The Blessed One is fully enlightened. The Dhamma is well proclaimed by the Blessed One. The Sangha is practicing the good way. Now if others should ask that monk thus, what are the Venerable One's reasons and what is his evidence whereby he says, the Blessed One is fully enlightened. The Dhamma is well proclaimed by the Blessed One. The Sangha is practicing the good way. Answering rightly, that monk would answer thus, Dear friends, I approached the Blessed One in order to hear the Dhamma. The Blessed One taught me the Dhamma with its higher and higher levels, with its more and more sublime levels, with its dark and bright counterparts. As the Blessed One taught the Dhamma to me in this way, through direct knowledge of a certain teaching here in that Dhamma, I came to a conclusion about the teachings. I place confidence in the teacher thus. The Blessed One is fully enlightened. The Dhamma is well proclaimed by the Blessed One. The Sangha is practicing the good way. Monks, when anyone's faith has been planted, rooted and established in the Tathagata through these reasons, terms and phrases, his faith is said to be supported by reasons, rooted in vision, firm. It is invincible by any recluse or Brahmin or God or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in the world. That is how monks, there is an investigation of the Tathagata in accordance with the Dhamma, and that is how the Tathagata is well investigated in accordance with the Dhamma. That is what the Blessed One said. The monks were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So here this sutta is telling us that we should question everything, even the state of the teacher, like the Buddha taught the Kalama Sutta, where the Buddha says, don't believe because the teacher has a good reputation, don't believe because it comes from the books, everything, but investigate. So the other thing interesting about this sutta is that if a monk is practicing correctly, even if he acquires renown and attain fame, then he is not moved by it. He doesn't become arrogant. The ego doesn't become so big, not so greedy. Another thing is, if a monk progresses, then he becomes less critical of others. He's more compassionate of other people's behavior, and is more keen to improve himself instead of criticizing others.